everyone! For my next video, I'm going to answer a question that I get asked all of the time. Let's go way back to the beginning of my acting career. I started really acting when I was 12 years old. Unless school plays count, then I was 4. Growing up, I always had this really long hair, so I got to play the Virgin Mary in the Christmas program every year. It was just the hair. That's the only reason. Anyway, when I first started taking acting classes, it was like my whole world finally made sense. All the little puzzle pieces kind of came together and voila! I knew what I wanted to do with my life. I learned how to create characters, how to adjust to my physicality and my voice to become another person. And what do you know, I was actually really good at it. When I went on to high school theater, I realized that I would have to use my characterization skills for almost every performance. You see, somewhere between middle school and high school, everybody's voice is lowered in pitch, especially the girls, but not mine. I still sounded like I did in middle school. I still sound like I did in middle school. Therefore, I had to learn how to convincingly lower my voice if I wanted to play the meatier roles on stage. Here's a funny story. The reason I'm able to switch from high to low pitch so easily is because of my father. Growing up, my dad couldn't believe that the squeaky little noise coming out of my face was actually my legit speaking voice. He would always say, "Monique, use your grown-up voice." He's from Spain. So I would lower my voice an octave or so whenever I spoke to him about anything serious. Kind of like what I'm doing now. Basically, my dad was priming me to be a voice actor without even realizing it. I remember my senior year of high school, we did the show Cretan Woman, and I played the tragic, tortured Phaedra. It was a Greek tragedy that ripped your heart out, threw it on the floor, and then did a little dance on top of it. I used my lower register on stage, and people were always so freaked out when they met me. "Oh, you were so strong on stage, and now you sound like a little mouse." Thank you, I think. Little did I know I was building up experience for my future voice acting career. When I auditioned at ADV, I had a ton of stage experience and some commercial VO and film work under my belt, but I had never ever done anything like ADR, the process we use for dubbing. I was incredibly nervous when I got called in for my first session with Matt Greenfield. I was asked to play a character named Mikako in Martian Successor Nadeshko, and I also got to do some Walla. I had a blast. Matt was testing me throughout the Walla. "Be a protester! Go home, Jovians! We hate you! Boo! Now be a British protester! We hate you, Jovians! Go home! Boo! Be a little boy! Hey guys, what's up? Be a little girl!
Hey guys, what's up?
Be a shy woman!
Oh, hi there.
Be a sexy woman! Oh, hi there." He was throwing so much direction at me. I didn't have time to question myself. I just did it. I had voices coming out of me that I didn't even know I could do. Later, I went back and realized that I had been using techniques that I had learned in my voice for the actor classes in college. Basically, whenever you're creating a character voice, you need to consider the character's vocal placement, their melody, rhythm of speech, and any accents or vocal quirks they may have. I'm going to break these down for you one by one and give you examples, so hopefully you'll understand what I'm talking about. Whenever I do a panel on voice acting or teach a class, I spend a lot of time on voice placement. This is where I start building all of my characters. I concentrate on 3 areas: the nose, throat, and chest. The goal is to make it sound as though your voice is resonating from one of those 3 areas. Now, my regular speaking voice lives in the nasal area, but I can make it
Even more nasal, like Aizu Tome from Shin-Chan. Oh, Shin!
or even more nasal,
Like Suyu Asui, aka Frappy from My Hero Academia.
To find the right placement, I put my fingers here on either side of my nose when I speak. If I feel the resonance, then I've got the right placement. Next is the throat area. I have so many characters that live in this range. Again, it's all about making it sound as though your voice is resonating from this area. Probably my most popular character in this placement is Bulma. Goku, what do you think you're doing? As you can hear, by placing her voice in my throat, I lose some of the nasality that makes my voice recognizable. Another example is Mey-Rin from Fairy Tail.
Welcome to the Fairy Tale Guild.
This goes to show that pitch has little to do with placement. You can have a low-voiced nasal character and a high-pitched throaty character. How cool is that? The next area is the chest. You want everything to sound like it's resonating from here. A good example for this area would be Dante from the original Full Metal Alchemist series. How nice to see you again, my Hohenheim of light. Or Michiko from Michiko and Hatchin. You don't want to mess with me. Or the Kamikaze Ghosts from DBZ Kai. This is gonna be fun! You see, ladies, for most voice actors, the little boy voice comes from the chest voice. Have you ever noticed that some people have a more musical tone when they speak? Their voice goes up and down instead of just being flat and monotonous. Well, that's melody. The best possible example of melody in anime that I can give you is Shiro in Dead Man Wonderland. Plus, it gives those of you who haven't seen it a reason to watch. As you know, I voiced a ton of little girls. One of the secrets to voicing kids is capturing their wonderment. Kids are still taking in their environment. They're really excited about pretty much everything, and they haven't quite learned how to control their instincts. Therefore, most kids have really melodic voices. Listen to Shiro's voice.
I love red bean buns and Ganta. Ganta's my bestest friend.
Hear how her voice is all over the place pitch-wise? That's melody. Now, without any spoilers, I can tell you that she's not always bright and spunky. When we see her under those circumstances, her voice is more monotonous.
I can't give you a real line in this voice because I refuse to spoil the show.
The melody of a character's voice can seriously change their sound. Now this category is usually decided for you in anime. When you have to match flaps, you're kinda stuck with what you get. So let's look at this one using a video game character as an example instead. I play the character Hale in the game Smite, available now from Hi-Res Studios. As you may know, the game is based on Norse mythology, and Hale is the keeper of, well, hell. She has a light side and she has a dark side, and I was lucky enough to get to play both. In the game, her light side is
high-pitched and has an airy quality. She has a melodic voice and takes her time when speaking because she's so enamored with everything around her.
On the other hand, her dark side is low and raspy, and she speaks quickly, usually because she's annoyed at the light side. I chose to differentiate the two sides not only with pitch, but rhythm. When I played Chane in Bakano, I was thrilled when the director Tyler Walker asked me to do a slight French accent. Luckily, I had just been to Paris for 2 weeks, so it was pretty easy. That's not always the case. When I was cast as Belarus in Hitalia, the director called me up to let me know I would need to study the Belarusian accent. And thank goodness he did, because I would have been lost. Accents are great for building characterization, but make sure you can do the accent well. Study a few so that you have a couple of really good ones in your repertoire. If you get an audition with an accent you're not familiar with, study up and give it your best shot. Maybe let the director know you're willing to study to improve. Now with vocal quirks, I'm talking about anything that would vocally set this character apart from the others. For example, when I was auditioning for Kyoko in Full Metal Panic, I initially thought she should have this
cute, clear tone.
Then I thought, it might be fun if she had a lisp.
Hey, Sosuke!
So I added the lisp to the audition and got the role. Another example is Mey-Rin from Black Butler. When I first saw the character and was doing prep for the audition, this sound came to my mind. Originally, I just wanted to work it in here and there, but I realized it was much funnier if that sound was her voice. Oh, I just love Sebastian, don't you? The breathy quality made her voice that much wackier. Here's a fun side note. Not only did that noise shape her voice, it also helped me get into the voice before each line. I would make the noise in the booth right before each take. The director, Ian Sinclair, found it hilarious. Now, here's the trick to coming up with new voices. You take any one of each of these things and put them together. Voila, new voice. For example, let's say I want a nasal voice with a melodic tone and a slow rhythm with a southern accent.
Here's what that would sound like.
Or maybe a monotone chest voice with a fast rhythm and a breathy quality. Here's what that would sound like. You see how easy it is to build a library of character voices this way? And you thought voice acting was just walking into a booth and talking. Nope. This is the kind of stuff we voice actors have to think about all the time, sometimes before we even land a role. It's a lot to take in, but practice makes perfect, especially in this case. Anyway, that's it for today. Much love to all of you. See you next time.